You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. How's that coffee going? Is it kicking yet?
It's going good. It's good.
You have to think about it.
I had to think about it. It's good though. I don't do the cold ones that often. And when I do, it reminds me how good the coffee really is. The ice keeps it, and then when it gets in your mouth, it kind of explodes.
We're gonna make a commercial of you doing that. Well, I'm super excited to talk to you and to do this episode all about our Cafe Academy, all about the way that we hire people from our community. I mean, this is like our special sauce. This is something that we're so excited about. So proud of. You know, when we first started the cafe we started in 2019, but I was going back to whenever it was about when we turned the corner in probably 2018, early 2019. We were nearing towards opening the cafe, and it just kept getting delayed for financial reasons.
Yeah, we wanted to open in the summer. Remember, that was an issue. It's going to be summer, but then summer to me sounds like July, and then it was going to be August, and then it was going to be September.
Well, where I was going with that though is when we initially started thinking we were opening, we put out a call to hire people, right? And that's
what I mean. That's why I wanted to add that in there, because we hired. No, I'll let you tell that part. Go. We hired, and you wanted to hire people. You put it out there to hire people, and then what?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk.
No.
When we began to hire people, we got this great cohort, our first cohort of our Cafe Academy coming in, of these amazing, young, bright minds from South Central community. And the majority of them had absolutely no experience, right? And
some first job ever.
Some the first job ever. And, you know, to be truthful, we had them waiting for some time, right? So we hired them maybe in June. As everybody knows, we opened up our soft launch in November. So these people were sort of waiting around for some time, you know. Yeah. But the ones that hung in there and, you know, waited it out and, you know, were...
I think they all did. I don't think... maybe one or two didn't stay, but that was it when we hired 13 people.
Yeah. And so they started, we had plenty of time to train, and they also were a huge help in helping us get the cafe open, because we had them come for their staff meetings and bonding sessions and all that kind of stuff. And we also asked them to put together equipment and unpack boxes and, you know, assemble bookshelves and all that good stuff. So all those early days where people were, you know, getting connected. And one of the first people ever that we met, though, when we were trying to open up the cafe and figure out, you know, what did we need to know about people, training them to become baristas, was Lanisa Williams.
We ran into her. Oh my God.
I found her online somehow. Yeah. I have to ask her today if she remembers our origin story. But all I know is I stumbled upon Lanisa, and she was a barista trainer, and she was looking for, you know, a second chance and new opportunity for her as well, in terms of getting into some stable employment and helping to get some more experience in her belt with her barista training company. And she came in and initially trained us, right? Because we said, hey, we can't have all these new hires, and we've never, you know, even made a cup of coffee. Right. And she said, you know, no problem. I mean, Lanisa has such a great personality. She's
patient with me and spent hours with me. My God. I was trying to make art.
The learning curve was a little steeper for you. Is that what you're trying to say?
I was trying to make some art.
How did that go for you?
It didn't go.
Yeah, it didn't go.
My swan looked like a leaf, or my leaf looked like whatever. Wasn't good.
But Lanisa was amazing, and she came in and she trained us up. And then she was part of our original cohort of hirees.
I thought I was the man after she taught me how to make them, though. I was like, I can make coffee. I can make a latte. It's awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah. And you, for like 1 month when we opened, did anything on the barista scale. And then
The first 3 months, I worked till like March. March, I was like, hey, I had other things. I was thinking about. I was thinking about the
stay on track with the story here. You're jumping all around. But the point that I'm getting to is our first class of young kids that came in primarily from the community had absolutely no experience. We didn't have any experience. Lanisa was our trainer. She came on to work on our team also.
We did know that we had to have people ready though. So let's not we weren't oblivious. We were still business people. We knew we had to have people trained. So that's not knowing anything. We knew something. Go.
Yeah. Not that we didn't know anything about business. I'm saying initially we didn't know anything about coffee.
Right.
And so we had Lanisa in place to train us. Then she trained the staff. Then she came on as one of our lead baristas and worked with us for a couple years. And she was instrumental in the time period that we had when we were closed for COVID.
Oh my God.
Because when we shut down for COVID, it was really, at that time, we had to furlough 90% of our staff. Or more, or maybe all of them. Though I think at that time it was only you, me, and Lanisa that were still, later it was you, me, and Lanisa initially. And then we needed one more person and we scooped up JB, who,
on a fluke. She said, I'll do a little bit. And she ended up.
Yeah. JB is amazing because JB is a MC and a host, and she had been our MC and our host for our ribbon cutting opening of the cafe. And so she was like a friend that we had picked up from the community, and she was such a great asset, and she has such a larger than life personality. And so during COVID, people were a lot out of work. And so JB was somebody that we knew because she was a host and they weren't doing a bunch of events or sporting events or any of that kind of stuff, that she could use a boost herself.
Okay, got it.
And so we asked her, hey, we know you're not a cashier, but you have that amazing personality and we trust you. Would you come in and work as a cashier? So she also, for a period of time, it was you, me, Lanisa, and JB were the crew that made it through COVID. Initially, when we had to furlough everybody, it was Lanisa, JB, you, and me working. And if we go back to when we started our initial cohort of opening the cafe, there was one other person that was part of that, which was Juan Carlos as well, Juan Carlos Mercado. And this was his very first job. This was a kid that was 18 years old from our community. You guys went, was it Bethune? Both of you went to Bethune? Yeah. Is it middle school? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, he's
many years apart, but we've gone to the same middle school.
Yeah, no, of course you're of a different generation, but I'm talking about you guys literally grew up in the same exact community. And so here's this kid that walks in as his first, day on the job. But he's got this great personality, this great spirit about him. He was very quiet at the time, a little bit timid. But he was just like, go with the flow. Right. So over time, you bring people into your work and you end up realizing some people come and some people go. And so one of the things that we wanted to focus on through these lenses of access and equity for our community was around how could we get people, jobs and, really restore sovereignty in our community. And when you think about sovereignty, sovereignty is like personal ownership, personal autonomy, like, power, right? Mm-hmm. How are we empowering our community economically? And one of the main drivers of that in our community is getting people jobs. So through thinking about restoring sovereignty, we said, okay, we want to hire people from our local community. We want to bring in people, whether they have previous experience or not, whether they're previously incarcerated, whether they're previously unhoused. We want to create second chances for people. And we want to create an opportunity to create this progressive pathway where they can go from coming in at a, entry level living wage job, which was also one of our commitments, is that we pay people a living wage, not just a minimum wage, but a living wage. Right. And then how do we create a progressive pathway for them to go from starting at that living wage and making it into middle and management positions and income. And so, we didn't start off with this full blown vision. We started off with the vision of, we wanted to hire local. We know we were fine with hiring people that had, were previously incarcerated or had other barriers to employment. Right. But we knew that what we wanted to do was to really restore that sovereignty and that empowerment in our community, and that was a focus, because a lot of people here were underemployed, under-resourced, and didn't have access to opportunities. And that was something that we wanted to bridge the gap on.
And didn't have experiences in different things. And some would come in as just cashiers, and some would come in as just cooks and all that stuff. And what we implemented in our program is that they would learn all positions. They would do it all. And that in itself, you come to a job as a cashier, you leave, or not leave, hopefully you don't leave, but you develop into, 4 different jobs that you become a part of. It's a multitask. I don't like that word, multitasking.
We're cross-training. We're cross-training and
cross-train everybody.
And giving people transferable skills.
Exactly.
And like you say, every time we would interview people, we'd say, you're coming in and, one day you're going to do customer service. The next day, you're going to do cash handling. The next day, you're going to do grocery bagging. The next day, we're going to have you leading a community event, community organizing, knocking on doors. And so that is where our Cafe Academy curriculum started to develop from, after the first few cohorts of people coming in, we started looking at it and then going, okay, I think we're onto something here. What we do and why we do it is we're hiring local, we're hiring people who need second chances, who have barriers to employment. We're bringing them in at a living wage. We're creating a pathway for them to promote and make more money so that they can afford to live in their own community. I mean, how revolutionary and profound and important is that? Like, you would think that that's a given, right? You have a job and you can afford an apartment in your neighborhood, right. But
where you live, you can walk to your job, you can ride your bike.
Yeah. But with gentrification and inflation and just we're living in Los Angeles, the cost of living here has skyrocketed and it hasn't kept up with the wages. And so, our commitment was, people are going to be able to make $20 an hour, coming off the street. Their first job, $20 an hour, including their base rate and tips. They're going to hit, that $20 an hour, which is, I think, currently $1 above not the minimum wage, but $1 above the living wage, right?
Right.
And then from there, we're saying, how can we get them into that $25 an hour, $28 an hour, $30 an hour, and beyond? And what does it look like to take people from where they start and where they can go, and how do we develop that system?
Golly, we're revolutionary.
We're revolutionary. Golly.
I mean, people go like, well, why aren't I just a cashier? Well, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. You want to be a multi functional or functioning person in our company, and it is proven to be so useful and helpful to us. If this person goes out, this person fills in. If that person goes out, so it helps them and it helps us. So
I think you and I embody that also, where we've made it a point to learn all the jobs and do all the jobs ourselves. Also, even at this stage, you and I, like this morning, I can still
make a drink. It might take me a little while, but you'll get that drink.
Yeah, and
it'll taste good.
Yeah, but also we'll come in and we'll change the trash. We'll clean the bathroom. We'll do whatever, wipe the tables down. We'll do clean whatever it takes. Because we're embodying what an entire employment ecosystem looks like. Is we have people are getting empowerment through employment. They're getting opportunity through employment through our Cafe Academy, and they're learning transferable skills that hopefully they stay within our ecosystem and continue to promote and evolve and do other jobs for us. But if not, we have partner organizations that are just waiting in the wings to say, oh, you've been certified.
South LA Cafe? Yeah, basically certified for us.
You have the Slack seal of approval. Here's my certification. I went to customer service training. I went through marketing training. I went through cash handling, food handling, grocery development, community organizing. They have all of that under their belt. And now when they go in for that interview, they're able to, their pile of certificates and qualifications are really stacked and full. And then they have letters of recommendation and, they get mentorship from us. We have trainers on our staff that are working directly with them. Right. And so it's very exciting. I mean, it sounds so amazing as I'm saying it out loud to just think in the short period of 4 years that we've been doing it so far through COVID. I mean, we all have to remember COVID, was like super active for like at least 2.5 years. Right. And through that entire time, we continue to do this. We continue to hire people, train people, develop people, mentor people, create opportunities for people, going back to Lanisa, after she hung in there with us during COVID and, really was a lifeline for us, at some point in time. And we always knew when we hired her that she had many talents, super aspirational, super entrepreneurial person. And we always wanted to support her in that. And so at some point in time, she came to us and said, hey, I think it's time for me to break off from you guys and, do my own thing. I want to pursue other business ventures, other opportunities. And, we were so excited for her. We were so thrilled supportive. For her.
We were like, lift you up.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see you happen. Let's see it happen for you. And how can we amplify you? How can we support you? How can we promote you? How can we get what you're doing out there in the world? And then she left to do that. And, I don't know if it was a year or two, she was out there, doing that the last couple of years. And we've been in constant contact and, she still comes in and does for us. She still comes in and does coffee roasting events and she will consult with us on our coffee roasting program. And then, what was it like a couple months ago, she came by and we were having one of our normal, check-ins. How's it going? Let's catch up. What's going on? And then I said, what? You're thinking about looking for, full-time employment again? I said, okay, wait, hold on.
Stop. Don't look anymore.
Don't look any further. I said, don't look any further. We have a brand new cafe about to open up in Jefferson Park.
It was beautiful. It was great to have her.
And we gave her the opportunity to come back as a cafe manager, right? So when she left, she was not a cafe manager, and now she, with all of her experience and all of the trust and the background that we've had with her, it was a perfect opportunity for us to say, as a company, we've grown, and as an individual, you've grown. And the opportunity that we have to present you is an opportunity we weren't able to give you before, but now we are, right? Yes. And so she's come back in and it's been like, no time has lapsed. And she's a prime example of somebody who, the rate that she started with us and the rate that she's making now has at least doubled, in the course of just a few years, right? And so being able
More
to
than double. But anyway, go ahead. I just like to add the little pieces that you're leaving out. Go.
Well, whatever it is, I'm saying it's more of a hypothetical.
Right.
It's not a specific number to number thing. It's just saying it's at least doubled, if not done more than that, like you said. But then you take someone like Juan Carlos, who started off as this really sweet, timid, sort of quiet guy, but he was, consistent.
Now always you can't tell him anything. He's the man. I love it. And what's funny is, and this is all through the development. Now, understand our program was developing too, but it's just, it's amazing that we're doing this. I mean, there's corporations that invest millions of dollars, take years to do what we're doing. And we did all this in 4 years during COVID. People, this is crazy. It's not crazy. I'm going to stop using the word crazy. This is what's supposed to happen.
It's exciting.
It gets back to doing good.
It's exciting.
Our intention is always trying to help people. And I think if you're listening to anything, if you just do that, if you do with the intent to help, things are going to work out. Like this, the whole design of this was to help our community, to help people. And it is just working out. It's just the good is what is it? Begetting, good begets good. Mm-hmm. And that's just what's happening. There's no other way to explain it. We haven't invested the millions of dollars. We haven't. Our intent was to help our community, and we gave it. And we designed it as tough as it was, and how we didn't even have all the pieces, but we said, we're going to do this. And because we did that with our hearts and with other people in mind, this is what's coming back. You're getting in the Lanisas that are being developed. You're getting the Juan Carloses, that shy kid. There's no way going any other job that I can even think of that he could go from where he was to where he is today in the amount of time that he did.
Yeah. So on that note, wanting to say, so for Juan Carlos, who started off as one of our first ever employees, and he has stayed with us. It was literally his first job was with us, and he's never left to go to another job. And because of that, we've had time to really mentor and develop him and get him to start using his voice and get him to start taking up more space and get him to get in alignment with his own values and passions. And so about a year ago, he started having conversations about, I want to play a leadership role and I want to promote within the company. And I have ideas about the culture of the company and, the people and the development of the people. And I want to help start taking this culture that we've created at Slack that's so specific and so dialed in. And I want to help make sure that that's the way it always is. No matter what location we open, no matter what employee we bring in, that they understand who we are, where we're from, what we do, why what we're doing is special, and they can say it consistently and they can represent that consistently. And so about 3 to 6 months ago, we gave him a promotion to become the people and culture manager, where he still is a manager on duty. If you come to the cafe, he's in charge and helping to run everything. But in addition to that, because of his passion, because of his drive to be a part of the culture and this like quality control for the company, he's been the one that we've given the opportunity to go over to the Hollywood Bowl and work with the employees that we have over there and make sure that the culture, the quality control is consistent, that when people go to the Hollywood Bowl and they're getting a drink, it's tasting exactly like the one that they're getting over here on King of Western. And, that's and in addition to that, because he's a child of South Central, taking the culture of South Central to Hollywood, what does it look like for a South Central based company to be in Hollywood? We don't want to be a Hollywood company. We're a South Central based company. So what does it look like that, there's specific aspects of our culture here that we want to be emulated over there, right? And so how is he able to do that? But that's now created an opportunity for him as well. And part of that discussion about his promotion was looking at his financial overhead and his budget, right? Sitting down with him. So this is about the expansion of the Cafe Academy and how over a period of years, we're able to keep training and developing and mentoring people beyond just customer service. Now we're moving into actual financial literacy. I said to him, do you know how much money you want to make? No, I don't even know what I should get paid and what I want to make. Okay, well, let's start with, do you know how much money you need? No, I don't really know that either. Okay, well, let's look at that. Let's sit down and I'm going to talk to you about all of the different categories of expenses that people have, and let's look at it. There's rent, okay, right all now. Those things. Yeah, there's rent, there's, cars, there's gas, there's food, do you have debt? Yes, no, maybe, where does that fit into the picture? Okay. And so looking at, this is your overhead. Okay, well, that's great because what we were thinking of paying you is X and it looks like it covers, all of that and more and enough for savings, let's talk about that, And so
it's a whole developing process.
It's a whole developing process. And then there's one more person like this that I want to throw into the mix, which is Tim Brady.
Yeah.
He's another person that great guy from the community, that came to us. couple years ago. We snagged him up because he had a little gap, he was moving from one thing to the next thing. And we said, whoa, hold on. Wait. We
can use you.
We could use you, and at that time you were the one that was leading everything having to do with our South LA market operations and our grocery program and our food distribution. You were day in and day out grinding, doing such an amazing job, working with the volunteers, working with the staff, driving the truck all around town, sourcing the donations, getting the food, buying the food, working with the clients. And yes, you were great at that, but it's also extremely wearing.
Or it took away from the things that I could be doing. And it didn't take away from it. It didn't, because I don't even know that it existed. It didn't allow me to open myself for the other opportunities that we had right before us, because I was so busy with the actual work. So him coming in really, life-saving, saved me from probably burnout.
Yeah. But initially when he came in, he was coming in as your right hand.
Right.
So not necessarily an entry-level position, but, coming in as he didn't know what he was doing yet. He hadn't done this type of work specifically yet. He had a long work experience, great guy, very mature.
Takes great notes. Amazing. He's always, when he was right there, he was like, what? So anyway.
Yeah. So he was like your right-hand person that you trained and you developed. And he was so quick to pick up all of the pieces through going through his own training and development program that at some point in time he said, hey, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to become the second. You become the first. I'm obviously still the supervisor and the boss and all that kind of stuff, but I don't need.
And then it got to the point. I started telling, reminding him, Joe, I got it. And then I knew that it was time for me to release it a little bit. So.
Yeah. And so the point being there with Tim is he became an integral part of our organization also. And we knew that we didn't want to lose him either. Right. And so how do you develop and how do you work with somebody to develop their skill set and their leadership and their managerial capabilities so that they can promote and take up more space and also increase their earning potential? And so he also somebody is within the last year that through going through the Cafe Academy and all the training and development that we've provided him, the mentorship, the coaching.
Still doing it. But go ahead.
Yeah, that he transitioned into becoming the market logistics manager, right? And so, which is exactly what he is. He's handling all the logistics. There's a lot of logistics that go into into our operation for sure. And we were able to then give him an appropriate promotion, an appropriate wage increase as well, and transition him into a salaried employee. Right. And so this is a very exciting time for our company, and, we're expanding. There's lots of opportunities. There's lots of opportunities for people to step into leadership roles. There's a lot of opportunities for people to come in at the entry level position, and, our Cafe Academy and our commitment to restoring sovereignty in our community and creating that through economic empowerment, through employment, is at an all-time high. And it's really, really exciting. And yet it's extremely hard. I mean, we have to be transparent that people are the secret sauce, but they're also sometimes the biggest challenge, right? And so it's like at the same time, you have people that you need to let go. You have people who are not a fit. You have people who are resigning. You have people who are transitioning, right? Mm-hmm. So every time you think you have the perfect formula of people in place, especially when you work in a food service industry, you're always losing people. You're always having to hire people. So that's why the focus on what is our framework of how do we do this process through the Cafe Academy has been so important to us, because we have to get it codified, because it's something that we're actively doing at all times. And that also goes into the other framework that we work on, which is ATR, which is how do we attract, train, and retain employees, right? So that's something that, we're always noodling on, but we know that that's our focus. Is we need to have a way that we call people in, that we're attracting them, We have to have the Cafe Academy. That's our training program, our workforce development program, where we're training people, that's run through our foundation. And then
after they develop, we have to
retain them, you know, and there's a lot of different things.
And sometimes we get, people, they, for whatever reason, they go. And what's like a little on the back for us is that we're doing something right because we've had people come back.
We have a lot of people coming back. Right. It's really interesting. So, whether we want them back or they want to come back, we're having a lot of people coming back and, saying, all kinds of things. I went out into the world and I thought that there was something better out there. And I realized there's nothing like what you have going on here, or I want to come home, Yeah. So it's really interesting to see, if you train people, if you support them, and then if you allow them to follow what they want to do with their life and keep the door open, a lot of times they come back in. So as we're wrapping up this episode, we've now talked about all 4 of the focuses around access and equity over the last 4 episodes. Yeah, absolutely.
Jeez, is it we've many episodes already?
We've covered a lot of bases on this topic of access and equity. And so the purpose of sharing the inside scoop between our thoughts and sort of our frameworks is so that people understand that what we're doing is with intention, that we're not just throwing it out there and seeing what sticks. Like, we're really coming into this with a passion and a purpose and a why about servicing the community, but also an awareness of the social issues that exist. And then how do we match those social issues with the products and services that we provide to the community? And that's become like our special sauce that has developed into our community-centered business model about putting the community at the center of all that we do and creating that love and reciprocal relationship with them. So that being said, we're going
to start having guests too. Yo,
well, that's in season 2. That's in season 2.
Oh, okay.
That's in
we can have Zoom guests.
No, I said that's in season 2. Okay. All right. That's in season 2.
I'm always jumping in. I'm always 5 steps ahead.
You are always antsy and wanting to move it forward.
Yes.
So with that being said, what comes next? Don't you know what comes at the end of these episodes by now? No. What's your key takeaway? What's your lesson? If you wanted to tell anybody a key lesson about hiring,
from this
about
episode
employment,
is go with the intentions to help people develop. Not just like I was talking to someone the other day. I could just give you a job, but we don't just have jobs here. We have development. We don't want you to just come in and wash the dishes. We want you to develop as a person. We want you to develop as everything that we do. We want you to know something about it. So that's what I get from it. We are not job givers. We are developing people.
I love that. Well, I'm going to piggyback on that and say the main lesson or takeaway that I would say for other people who are employing people is the way they, in that framework that I mentioned, our ATR framework, the attract, train, and retain, the way that you retain is by creating a progressive pathway of development and also income, opportunity. So when you're thinking about your organization, even if you have one employee, what is the journey for them? Where they're starting here, where are they going next? Mm-hmm. Where are they going next? Where are they going next? You might not have those steps yet. You might not be there yet. Your organization, your company might not even be at that stage yet. But by you just starting to visualize where you can take that person, that in itself is manifestation, right? You're claiming that. You're starting to vision forward. And as you do that, you can also communicate with them, what the vision is. I mean, Lanisa and JC and now Tim, we're going out to dinner tonight to talk about it. Oh, and Marina came back. Marina, one of our managers right now, came back after going off and doing another job for a full year, came back and said, I'd like to come back full time with you guys, so it's really fascinating. But those are our primary managers right now. We're going out to dinner tonight to celebrate them for all of their hard work and what they've been putting in this year for us, holding it together for us. But what I was going to say is we laugh sometimes when we talk about like, can you believe everything that's happening? And, and I go, oh, it's so crazy. Like, can you believe it? There's so much going on. And they said, absolutely, we can believe it. We've been talking about this from day one. You and Joe have been planting the seeds of this vision. You didn't always know exactly what it was going to look like. You didn't always hold so tightly, like some things came, some things left. But the heart and soul of what we've done here has always been the blueprint from the beginning. And,
that's so good to hear. It's so good to hear.
It's so good to hear.
Because we have been talking about it from day one.
So we're in alignment, even though sometimes it feels a little crazy. Sometimes it feels like things are out of our control, which of course they are in many ways. Ultimately, they are the reflection to us of that, the impact that we wanted to have, the access and the equity that we want to provide to the community. We also are providing to our team.
We're changing lives.
Say it again.
We're changing lives.
We are including our own.
Including our own.
Amen.
So with that,
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Hey fam, if you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode of the In the Mix podcast. And for that, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please take 1 minute to hit the subscribe button to catch all future episodes. And then please give us a 5-star review. Also, if you want to support our Black and women-led multiracial movement to fight social, economic, racial, and food inequity, please head to our website, southlacafe.com, where you can become a monthly member, sponsor groceries, volunteer, buy merch and coffee, and make a tax-deductible donation. Sending you lots of peace, love, and blessings from our family to yours.